Hey everyone, I have a couple videos for you guys today, but I don't know how long the battery is going to last, because I have like less than 25% left, I think. But anyway, this first video is the 25 bookish facts about me tag. I wasn't tagged by anyone, but I've seen this around and it looks really fun and I hadn't done it yet. So what this is you just talk about 25 bookish things about yourself. And first I should warn you guys, you guys will have heard several of these before, probably just based on things I talk about in other videos. And also, this should really, for me, just be called the 25 bookish favorites tag, because I couldn't really think of a whole lot of bookish habits that I have. There are a couple, but anyway, so, yep, here we go. Okay, so fact number 1, and I'm sorry, I'm going to be reading from this, so I'll be looking down a lot, but anyway, fact number 1 is that I didn't like to read until I was 10. Which is weird because it's very different from most booktubers, I think. A lot of people who I've seen say that they started reading when they were as young as 3, or really as soon as they went into elementary school, and I didn't like to read till I was 10. The book that that got me into reading is The Kildee House by Rutherford Montgomery, which I believe I've said on this channel before. I read it when I was in 4th grade, and it got me hooked on reading. Sorry if you guys hear the barking, there are dogs out front. 3 is, with the exception of classics, I have a lot of trouble reading entire books after I've seen the film or TV adaptation. For classics, this is not the case, because a lot of times I will see a period drama that's an adaptation of a classic book before I actually have read the book, because sometimes I haven't even heard of the book until I see the film, and then I'm like, oh, I need to read the book. Like, an example I can think of is The Inheritance, the TV film that's actually based on a Louisa May Alcott book. So yeah, things like that. But for non-classics, I just have a hard time reading the book after the film, because I see the film and I'm like, well, I know the story now. And sometimes if I don't like the ending, or if I feel like the film did things mostly right, or, you know, got enough of the information in, I feel it's unnecessary to read the book, which is really depressing. But there are a couple exceptions to that, but unfortunately not many. But yeah, if I read the book first, you know, I have no issue then going to see the film, and so that's really the best way for me to do that. And then 4 is War and Peace and S. War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy and S by Doug Dorst, Concept by J.J. Abrams, are my 2 biggest literary challenges to date. I haven't finished either. I actually technically haven't even started S. I've read the foreword. But with War and Peace, you guys know that I've been reading that for 13 months at this point, and I'm still only on page 320-something, so I'm still only a 1/4 of the way through, and I've been reading it for 13 months. But the thing is, it's not a book that I read consistently. I read large chunks at a time and then set it aside for like 4 months and then pick it back up, and that's just not a good way to read a book. So I keep saying I'm going to try to fix that, and I am. So we'll see. But yes, when I finish both of those, they will be my biggest literary achievements to date. Probably along with this one that I just got from the library, which is Alexander Hamilton by Ron Chernow, which is the Hamilton bio that the musical is based on. So, yep, we'll see. You will see this in a haul in the next video. But anyway, next one is my favorite childhood book series, pre-Harry Potter, was a book series that I actually got into around the same time as Kildee House. They were called the Animal Arc books, and actually they were probably, I was going to say they were below my reading level, but that's not true. but when I was still reading them, they were probably below my reading level. I started reading them when I was 10, and you can probably start reading them at about 8, I would say. But yeah, since I was just getting into wanting to read at 10, I started... Kildy House was probably around my age level, but then I kind of backtracked and read a few things that were below my reading level, just to kind of work my way up, and I loved this series. It was written by Ben M. Baglio and also Lucy Daniels, and I'm pretty sure it was the same person writing under 2 different pen names, but I'm not 100% positive. And I don't know if the actual author was a man or a woman, and I don't know if either of those names was their real name. Like, I don't know which one was a pen name and which one was their real name, or if both were pen names. But I loved that series, and I was actually really upset because I found a couple episodes of the TV series that Britain did, that the books were adapted into. I found a couple episodes online, which was great, but I cannot find the episode based on one of my favorite of the books called Bunnies in the Bathroom, that actually Eddie Redmayne played my favorite character in the story, when he was like, I think he was 16 playing like a 14-year-old. And I still can't find that episode, and it makes me so sad because I love Eddie Redmayne and I love those stories, so I really want to see how that turned out, but oh well. Next up is, let me see. I have been keeping a book journal since I started this channel 3 years ago, in 2013. This is the one I'm currently on, and I think I only have one other one, which is my Alice in Wonderland notebook book journal, and I've had a request to do a full kind of tour of my book journal, so I might do that in a little bit, in a couple videos. So yeah, we'll see. I feel like I would like a little more interest in that before I actually decide to do it, so please let me know if you would be interested in seeing all the components of this book journal. Next up is I tab all of my books, which I've only been doing for about a year, but I love it. So, and I think it's a stepping stone towards maybe writing in some of them someday. I'm one of those people who I never used to write in books, but I think it'd be fun to annotate some, especially some where I have 2 copies of them, especially classics, because I know I have several different editions of Sense and Sensibility, for example, so I would love to maybe annotate one of those. And same with, I have multiple copies of Pride and Prejudice, so yeah, that would be interesting and fun, I think, maybe, someday. Next is, of my top 10 favorite authors, and I'm gonna real quick do honorary mention for Thomas Hardy. I haven't read, I've only read one Thomas Hardy so far, but I love his writing so much that I think I am going to, end up adding him to my favorites list. But part of this fact should also be that I have a rule where I have to have read at least two or three books by an author before I can put them on my favorites list. It's a rule that I gave myself to kind of stop myself from having too many favorite authors, which some of you may think that that's not even a thing, but to me, I feel like if I have too many favorite authors, then I will just be trying to read, you know, all of their work all the time. And, you know, I feel like that's a very honorary spot to talk about having a favorite author. So, yeah, my rule is that I have to have read at least 2 or 3 books by them before I can put them on that list. But Thomas Hardy, I feel like, is going to be on that list, just not right now. But of my top 10 favorite authors, who are Neil Gaiman, Jane Austen, William Shakespeare, Terry Pratchett, Agatha Christie, Charles Dickens, Elizabeth Gaskell, Cecilia Ahern, J.R.R. Tolkien, sorry, and Maureen Johnson. Of those 10, only 3 are still currently living. Sadly, one of them just died about a year ago. That was Terry Pratchett. But the 3 that are still alive are Cecilia Ahern, Maureen Johnson, and Neil Gaiman. So, yeah, in case you guys were wondering, I like a lot of authors who are from different times. So yes, that's that fact. And then, also, fact number 10 is, hang on, I can't read my own writing. I am one of those people where I take personality quizzes, like the literary personality quizzes, and the one that I take a lot is which literary heroine are you? And of the ones that include all authors, not ones that are just like, oh, which Jane Austen heroine are you, or which Bronte heroine are you, which I've never taken that one because there's only one Bronte heroine who I like, so, actually no, I like Jane Eyre too, but anyway, that's beside the point. Of the ones that are all-inclusive, the answer that I get most often is Anne Shirley from Anne of Green Gables, which I'm fine with. I know that I have a lot of red in my hair. I know it's brown, but I have a lot of red in the bangs. And because of that, I have a little bit of a temper, or I should say, a big temper. And I know that I kind of live in my own world and romanticize things a lot and love to read and just, yep. I'm cool with it, as long as eventually my Gilbert Blythe shows up. I'll be fine with that. So yeah, I just thought that was interesting. Next is, if a book has no romance in it, the likelihood that I will like it is kind of slim. There are a few exceptions. I'm trying to think if I can think of one. I think the one that I love that I don't think has a whole lot of romance in it is All the Light We Cannot See. There's like hints that a romance might eventually happen, but then due to things that happen in the book, it doesn't. So yeah, that's a book that, and you know, an exception to that would be there are several children's books and middle grade books where it's not romance because it's, you know, for younger children. So that's my exception to that, but of, like, you know, young adult and adult novels, if there's no romance, I probably won't like it. And also, I guess, nonfiction would be an exception to that rule as well, because, you know, some nonfiction just doesn't have any romance in it, and that's fine. So yes, next is, I hate Romeo and Juliet as a story. I don't really like the message that it sends. I don't like, I just really don't like it. No offense if you do. That's cool. But the ironic thing about that is that I really love a lot of the lines, and it's actually where my favorite monologue ever comes from. My favorite monologue is, Juliet's, not the, oh, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, but the, one from, I think it's in Act 3, I want to say, but it's the one after Romeo and Juliet are already married, and she's waiting for him to come home, and she doesn't know that he's off getting in a fight with her cousin. So, yeah, it's the one where she's waiting for him. I just think the language is beautiful. I love it so much. So, yeah, it's odd that I really despise the story, but I love that monologue. 13, my favorite illustrators are Brian Selznick and Mary Grand Prix. And my favorite comic illustrator, illustrators, plural, I guess, are Janet Leigh and Adi Granov. But the weird thing is I've only read one comic, or one graphic novel that Adi Granov has, illustrated, but it was so gorgeous that I have to include him. I think it's a him. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Adi Granov is a guy. Next is, since I started BookTube, I talk about books more than I read them, which is really depressing. Next is, my favorite play is An Ideal Husband by Oscar Wilde. Or I should say my favorite non-Shakespeare. Because my favorite Shakespeare is Twelfth Night, which is probably gonna be getting the boot for As You Like It as soon as I read that, because I love that story. Next is my favorite my favorite biography is one of Martha Washington that I read when I was in 4th grade and I did a report on her. I can't remember what it was called. It might be like The Life and Times of Martha Washington or something like that. I need to look that up again, but it is the biography that made me realize that she's pretty much my favorite First Lady ever, and it's interesting that she was the first First Lady and she was my favorite. Next is, my favorite poems are The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock by T.S. Eliot. I was getting ready to say somebody else, I don't know why. Maud by Alfred Lord Tennyson. And, wait, I have 2 others. Let me see. Sorry, As I Walked Out One Evening by W.H. Auden. I'm pretty sure it's Auden who wrote that one. And the last one is Love's Redemption by Gabriel Dante Rossetti. Is it Gabriel Dante or Dante Gabriel? Dante Rossetti. There you go. And 19 is my favorite Bronte sisters, Anne. 20 is I don't like to eat or drink when I'm reading. Just from bad past experiences of trying to do both at once. 21 is my most prized literary possession. You guys probably can't see it, and it's kind of hard for me to get down, but it's up here on this shelf, and it is the Illustrated London Times from 1937. I was going to say 73. 1937, which was George VI's coronation year that my grandmother gave me. Next is my most sentimental literary possession is my grandfather's college European history textbook. Oh, and his Calvin and Hobbes collection as well. 22 is I completely love literary inspired web series, and some of my favorites are, oh, actually, wait, no, okay, sorry. Some of my favorites are The Autobiography of Jane Eyre, Emma Approved, which I actually like better than Lizzie Bennet Diaries, but it's because George Knightley, who in Emma Approved is actually called Alex Knightley, is my favorite Austen hero. And I don't know, Pride and Prejudice is not, like, I would say it's maybe my third, it's either like my third or fourth favorite Austen, but it's lower on the list than most people. Most people, Pride and Prejudice is their number 1, and for me, it definitely isn't. So I think that's why I like Emma Approved better. Because I think they're equally great as far as casting and writing and how well they're done. It's just as far as the story goes, I like Emma Approved better, especially because George Knightley, aka Alex Knightley in the miniseries, I mean in the web series, just, and I also love Green Gables Fables, which is based on Anne of Green Gables. What else? From Mansfield with Love, which is based on Mansfield Park, and actually made me like that story. It's the only adaptation that has ever made me really love that story, including having read the book. I didn't like it, but then I saw this web series and I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. Dashwood Project, which is based on Sense and Sensibility, which you guys know is my favorite. In Earnest, which is based on The Importance of Being Earnest by Oscar Wilde. Right now I'm watching this one called All for One, which is an all-female version of Three Musketeers, and it's amazing. Well, almost all-female. the person who represents Milady de Winter is actually a guy. But so it's really like a gender reversal, I guess. And oh gosh, I know I'm forgetting some. The Adventures of Peter and Wendy, I love, which is based on Peter Pan. I'm probably forgetting a lot of other ones, but yeah. And I do love Lizzie Bennet Diaries as well. I'm actually wearing that shirt today, so yep. Next up is my favorite literary miniseries. Are tied between North and South, which was done in 2004 and stars Richard Armitage and Brendan Coyle and Daniela Denby-Ash and Anna Maxwell Martin, which I just love all of them. And also the 2008 Sense and Sensibility, which is amazing, and I like it a bit better than the 95 one, which is awful because I grew up with the 95 one, but they can just do more with a miniseries, and there are certain characters that I just like better. But there are good aspects of... There's like... I have a pro-con list for both, basically. So, okay. Next is my favorite classic literary heroes, and this is very hard for me to choose between them. But my number one, probably... My number one, they probably... Some of them probably, like, compete for first, depending on what day it is, but right now my number one is Gabriel Oak from Far From the Madding Crowd. 2 is George Knightley from Emma. 3 is Colonel Brandon from Sense and Sensibility. And then my others are, Jamie Fraser from Outlander. John Thornton from North and South, and 6. I have initials, but I don't know whose initials those are. This is kind of awful. It's gonna come back to me at some point, and I'll put it in the comments. And then also probably Henry Tilney from Northanger Abbey. Oh my gosh, though, I don't know. The initials are SM, and I don't know what those are. I don't know who that is, what they're from. I'll remember and then tell you guys in the comments, because I'm blanking right now. 25, last and least, or last and not least, is my favorite literary heroine is Eleanor Dashwood. From Sense and Sensibility. I have others, but none that are tied with her. She's just my absolute number one. I think she is so strong and amazing, and I love her. She's wonderful. So, yep, those are my 25 literary facts, or 25 bookish facts about me. So, I'm so sorry this lasted so long. I hope, I'll just write in the comments, you guys should, like, get a meal or get tea and a snack. I don't really know who to tag to do this, because most people that I would tag have already done this. So anyway, I tag whoever wants to do this, and, you know, let me know that you're doing it, because I would love to see your answers, to watch your video. So thank you so much for watching and staying with me for 24 minutes, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.